Hey girl, welcome to the Women Founder Podcast, where we are all about learning and growing professionally so that we can build a life that we are proud of and really love. My name is Caroline, and I'm a LinkedIn expert, obsessed with teaching female entrepreneurs how to start, grow, and scale their personal brand and business on LinkedIn. This podcast is all about sharing our stories and learning from each other on how to navigate our professional journey so that we can live our best lives. So if you are just starting your entrepreneurial journey, or if you are growing and scaling an epic company, you are in the right place, friend. Okay, today I'm feeling extra sassy about a specific topic I'm going to go off about, and I'm here. My goal is to actually help you understand exactly how you should be pitching yourself to podcast host. So for those of you that have been with me a long time, I've had this podcast for 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And it has been a labor of love. It has been something I've shown up for every single week, every single Tuesday over the past 2 years. And if you look at the podcast stats of actually the amount of podcasts that stay in the game and produce over 100 episodes, that percent goes down significantly. So I'm very proud that this podcast is in the top 5% global ranking. And what that means is I get a lot of solicitations of people that want to be on my podcast. They want to be featured. They want to tell their stories. They want to tell my audience about what they're an expert in. And I love that. I love featuring and highlighting and lifting other women up. But what that means is I get over 100 solicitations a week on people that want to be on my podcast because they know it's a podcast has been around a long time. I've got substantial downloads, viewerships, audience, all the things. So let me tell you this. There's a right way to solicit yourself to a podcast host, and there's a wrong way to solicit yourself to a podcast host. And don't get me wrong. I have been guilty of this when I first started on my journey. And now I know why I didn't hear back or why I didn't get the yes. So let me give you a couple of examples here. When you are pitching yourself, let's say you want to be on a podcast and you know that their audience, their viewers could benefit from what you're an expert in. Make sure to engage with the host before you pitch yourself. So a lot of pitches that I get, people slide into my DMs, slide into my emails, and they start off with basically telling me how great they are and why I need to feature them on my show. But you should actually be doing the opposite. Pitch the podcast host on how exactly you can serve their audience, serve their listeners on what you're an expert in, and actually express interest that you've actually listened to the podcast in the beginning. You don't have to go and listen to all their podcasts or even listen to a full episode, but make an effort to show them that you actually have listened to their podcast. Also, one other thing I'm going to add too is when you start pitching yourself to established podcasts, you have to realize that the podcast host or the podcast host staff or agency or whatever the setup is, they have a lot of people that they're going through to decide on who they're going to interview for that week. So you want to make sure that you stand out. So again, give to the host, tell them about how you can serve their audience. And I guarantee the percentage of the yeses that you're going to get will go significantly up once you take that approach. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions on this, feel free to send me a direct message. I am here to help. I want to see you guys get on more podcasts. I want to see you guys get featured, and I hope this episode was helpful. Until next time.